Hi guys, in this video we'll be looking at how you approach question using completing the square method. Now for this question we are given a square plus 3a minus 2 equals to 0. Before we go on to solve, most times we use completing the square method or formula method when the expression cannot be factorized. That means the left hand side cannot be factorized. Because from what I can see here, there's no value that when you add up, it will give you the product of these two guys. Sorry, when you multiply, it will give you the product of these two guys. And when you add up, it will give you 3a. I doubt any two values like that exist. So in this case, you have to make use of either completing the square or formula method. Another reason why we make use of completing the square method is if they insist that you make use of completing the square method. No one will ask you to solve this question using formula method most times, and most times factorization method when you're answering theory exam. Theory exams, they usually ask you to make use of completing the square method. Now let's look at the step-by-step process. We approach questions like this. Now first thing first, we make sure that the coefficient of the square of the unknown is 1. And in this case it is 1, so there's no need to divide through by any value. Next thing, move the constant away from here to the right hand side so that you can complete the square for the left hand side. So to move this guy away from here, I will simply add 2 to both sides. So if I add 2 to both sides, this will give me a squared plus 3a minus 2 plus 2 is equal to 0 plus 2. The whole essence is to make this guy to be 0. So you have a squared plus 3a is equal to 2. Now the next step is to complete the square for the left hand side. Now last video when I was deriving the formula method, I told you that to complete the square, you simply add the square of half the coefficient of the unknown. So we add the square of half the coefficient of a. Since we are adding to the left hand side to complete the square, and this is an equation, you must add it to the right hand side. So I'll write to both sides. So this will give me a squared plus 3a plus half of 3 is 3 over 2. So this will give us 3 over 2 all squared. Add it to both sides, 2 plus 3 over 2 all squared. Now the next step, pick this your a, pick this your 3 over 2. So this will give us a positive 3 over 2. Supposing here we are to be negative, this will be negative. So here will also be negative. But since this is positive, this will remain positive. All squared is equal to 2 plus 3 all squared is 9. 2 all squared is 4. So this will give us a plus 3 over 2 all squared is equal to, if I solve this correctly, I'll be having 8 plus 9 over 4. Now let's continue on the other side of the board. So I'll be having a plus 3 over 2 all squared is equal to 8 plus 9 is 17. So this is simply 17 over 4. Now we'll take the square root of both sides. And remember, the square root of a positive number is a positive or negative root of that number. So this will give us a plus 3 over 2 all squared is equal to positive or negative square root of 17 over 4. Now, square root of 17 is an irrational number, hence a surd, but square root of 4 is not a surd. So square root of 4 is simply equal to 2. So I can write here, this is a plus 3 over 2. Okay, I've looked for the square root, so there's no more square root sign here. So this is simply a plus 3 over 2. That was an error on my part. Looking for the square root will cancel out this square. So this will give us plus or minus square root of 17 all over square root of 4 is simply equal to 2. Now I can subtract 3 over 2 from both sides, and this will give me a is equal to negative 3 over 2 plus or minus square root of 17 over 2. Now the LCM is the same, sorry, the denominator is the same. So this will give us a negative 3 plus or minus square root of 17 all over 2. So my answer is either minus 3 plus root 17 over 2 or minus 3 minus root 17 over 2. So those are the two possible answers, and they are both irrational. Now let's take a look at a question that we know that we can factorize, and let's check if completing the square method will give us exactly the same answer. For example, you come across a question like this: x squared minus 7x plus 10 is equal to 0. I'm well aware that if I factorize, this will give me x minus 5, x minus 2 is equal to 0. So x will be equal to 5 or x will be equal to 2. So these are the two possible answers. Now let's try solving this using completing square method, and let's see if we'll get exactly the same answer. So move this guy to the other side. This will give us x squared minus 7x is equal to negative 10. So complete the square for the left hand side, adding the square of half the coefficient of x. So this will give us x squared minus 7x minus, sorry, plus negative 7 over 2 all square is equal to minus 10 plus negative 7 over 2 all square. So since here is a negative sign, so this will be x minus 7 over 2 all squared is equal to negative 10 minus 7 all squared is 49, 2 all squared is 4. So this will give us x minus 7 over 2 all squared is equal to 49 minus 10 is simply 39 all over 4. Now the next step is to find the square root. The next step is to find the square root of both sides. Okay, I think I made an error somewhere. So negative 7 over 2 is 49 over 4. So this also give us negative 10. This is negative 10 plus 49 over 4. So here I'll be having a negative 40 plus 49 all over 4. That is solving this fraction. So here this will give us 7 over 2, x minus 7 over 2, x minus 7 over 2 all squared is equal to 49 minus 40 is 9 over 4. Now we can simply take the square root of both sides. Now taking the square root of the left hand side, we simply cancel the square, and I'll be having x minus 7 over 2 is equal to the square root plus or minus 9 over 4. This is x minus 7 over 2 is equal to square root of 9 is simply 3, square root of 4 is simply 2. So x is equal to negative 7 over 2 to the other side will give us positive 7 over 2 plus or minus 3 over 2. So x is 7 plus or minus 3 all over 2. Now if it is plus, you are going to have a 10 over 2 which is 5. If it's a minus, you are going to have a 4 over 2 which is 2. So the answer is x is equal to 5 or x is equal to 2, similar to what we got using factorization method. So that's that for that. This is how you approach questions using completing the square method. If you like this video, kindly like, subscribe, share to friends, and you can leave your comment below if there's any error in calculation or if there's any question you wish to ask. See you guys in our next video.